Good afternoon, everyone, or morning, depending on where you are. We're going to give everyone just 1 minute to come join us, but we're really excited to bring you our second product session for UtilityGenius. Great, cool. So just to set the stage for this product session, in the last edition, early April, we covered all of the offerings of our free account. So everything that comes for free if you're just navigating the website. Today, we'll assume that you have some background on the free account and cover primarily our paid offerings with our pro and expert tier. However, if you are just getting started with UtilityGenius, feel free to ask questions about the free account in the Q&A at the end of the session. Or if you navigate over to our resources tab here, you can watch the recorded session from last time covering the free offerings right here. All right. With that being said, we'll get started with walking through our pro and expert accounts. If you're looking for one place to compare them all, pricing information or information on how to sign up at the end of this, you can go over to our pricing page. It's here on our menu bar. And on this pricing page, you'll see all three of our plans laid out side by side and details about what features are included in those plans. And you can sign up for a monthly or annual account here. So just a little bit of information on where you can find that information after this call. So we're going to start with going through the pro plan first, and then we'll move over into the expert plan. Try to keep things as separate as possible. But again, if there's any confusion over what's included where, please feel free to ask at the end of this session or as we go. All right. So first, we're going to show you our pro offering of custom programs. So those of you who've been in the industry for a long time, you probably are familiar with the different streams of program. You know that some programs have custom offerings for projects that don't necessarily fall into existing prescriptive or instant programs. So we do track those programs, and information on them is available in our pro tier. So if you track it, you start off with our normal journey. So you'll go into your preferred state, you'll navigate to your preferred utility, and then you'll see this custom button right here. This custom button is active for all utilities, whether or not they have a custom program. Those that do will show some information, and those that don't will provide a little bit of information about what custom programs are and let you know that we're keeping an eye for if any utilities introduce a new custom program, we'll have that information. So here in PPL, you can see we've got the rate information for their custom program. We have project cap information for their project, for any projects that run through their custom program, and pre-approval requirements. We also include a link over to the utility site so you can get more information or application information if you're ready to get started with a custom project. And then again, here on this right-hand side, we just have a little bit of information about what custom programs are. Not everyone has been exposed to them before, so we try to integrate that throughout the journey. From here, I'm going to point out another pro feature. A lot of our pro features are surrounding just more data available to you. So this export panel in the top right-hand corner is a downloadable Excel spreadsheet of all rebate rates in all product categories in a given utility. I'll show you an example of what that looks like. So with a pro account, you can download the spreadsheet. I'll open this up. There we go. All right, so this is what the spreadsheet looks like. We've got a few columns here. You'll see your technology, you'll see the product category that is we're referring to, what unit the rebate is available in, the high end of the rebate range, the low end of the rebate range. So for per unit rebates, this will often be the same. And then which stream it's available in. So we've got prescriptive, custom, and instant in this spreadsheet as well. This also includes all technologies and makes it a little bit easier to filter down to exactly what you're looking for or use this custom data in projects down the line. This is available for all utilities in our database. So with the Pro account, any utility that you are looking for information on, we will have this spreadsheet available for. All right. From here, we can go over to another way that you can look at a lot of data all at once with our Pro account. So you'll sometimes see, or you'll see on all of our utility panels here, that we have some general information about that utility. If you're looking to compare this information to other utilities, you can click over into this little scale icon, which will take you to our Compare All Utilities option. In the Compare All Utilities section, we have every utility program in our database in one place. So you'll see here we have the name. This defaults to being sorted by largest utilities first, but you can filter based off of pre-approval status, based off of the status of the program, based off of the state, based off of the country, if you want to see Canadian programs first. We also allow you to, when you click on this caret, we'll show you all of the technologies that are incentivized through that utilities program. So here for PG&E, you can see which technologies have prescriptive rebates available, which ones have instant rebates available. And then if we have any other technologies that we're tracking, whether or not rebates are available, but we may not have actual rebate estimates, which is sometimes the case. We know that a program exists, but we don't have the full scope of information in our database yet. We'll include that information as well, so you can go navigate to our page, get a little more information on what these are, and navigate over to the program page to learn more about their specific offering in that technology. If you're looking to get even more specific with what programs you're comparing, we have two ways you can do that. So one is if you click on this icon here, you'll open our filtering options. From here, you can select if you have a certain list of states that you're looking to compare. So let's say you're comparing Florida and Georgia. You can select just those states and filter this list down to just those utility programs. You can, again, filter by status. So if you just want to see programs that are currently open and accepting applications, you can do that. If you have a preference on what kind of pre-approval is required through that program, you can make selections there. And if you have specific technologies that you want to see, so if you only want to see programs with HVAC rebates available, you can filter there. So you see we've cut our more than 3,000 row database here down to just 14 to get that specific cross-section of data that you're most interested in. You can also download this information as a CSV if you're looking to do more analysis on this database, or again, integrate it with some of your other tools and projects. If you download this without any filters applied, you'll get just all of our data in one spreadsheet. If you download this with filters applied, it will be the filtered data that you've just selected. So we keep those filters in the download. If you're looking for this section, but not necessarily navigating to a specific utility first, or want a more direct way to access that See All Utilities area, here on our front page under the state selection here, this Compare All Utilities button will take you right back to where we were. All right. Then we've got one more Pro offering, again, showing you some of that national level data and giving you more opportunities to compare and contrast different utility programs. So we're on our homepage here. We're going to scroll down to this Filter by Technology section. As you can see, we've got all of these technology icons here. You can click on any of them and they will take you to our Filter by Technology interface. So here we have on our left-hand side all of the product categories that we are tracking incentives for through these programs. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom because it's a little easier to explain in reverse order. So here we have data on every utility program's incentives for this specific technology. So I have 1x4 selected right now. I have this list of utilities, and this information here is the minimum and maximum rebate available for that specific product category in that specific utilities program. You can do this for prescriptive or instant, and then you can also download this as an Excel spreadsheet, again, if you're trying to do your own analysis on this data. Here at the top, we're taking that information we have on utility rebate programs and the ranges of rebates available, and we're using a base set of assumptions for a common retrofit done with this fixture. So you'll see here that we have an existing fixture that we're using listed out here. So we've got a 4-foot T8. Then we have the assumptions we're making about the new fixture. So it's a 1x4 with 15 watts and 1900 lumens at 4,000 hours of usage. We're taking those baseline assumptions, which we've researched based on average projects that we see in this utility, kind of an average baseline assumption, and we're applying that information to a utility. So what rebate would you get if you completed this specific retrofit project in a specific utility? We're taking that calculation and then posting the range in at the state level. So here you'll see that the rebate range is listed as $3.20 to $45. That captures the total rebate range that is available to you for a 1x4 retrofit based on this existing fixture in the state of Pennsylvania. I know that maybe sounds a little confusing, but here's the use case for it. We're making these assumptions so that way at a glance, you can compare across the country, we do this for the US and Canada, where rebate opportunities are the highest. So if you are just starting out on scoping a project as a national level ESCO, and you look at this map, you know that your highest opportunities for a 1x4 retrofit are likely going to be in the Pacific Northwest. You've also got a high opportunity here in between North Carolina and Virginia. From there, you can maybe target your projects to those areas first and ensure that you're getting the maximum savings and maximum opportunity to provide savings to your clients. This map is downloadable. It's just a downloadable PDF to use as an image in reporting if you're trying to prepare a pitch deck or bring a proposal to a client. That's where you can use this image. This map is presently only available for LED technologies. You'll see if you click through these, you'll see a different set of assumptions for each technology that we're using, and the map will change to reflect that new set of technology or that new set of assumptions. We do track the data for all of our technologies available in our database, however. So if we go over into HVAC, pick this heat pump here. So we have rebate information, again, listed in this table that you can download. You can pick whether you want to see prescriptive or instant. So we're working on including the maps for HVAC currently. So that's a little sneak preview for those of you who joined us today that we will have the map calculations for HVAC in the future. But right now we do have this data available. So again, you can take this and use this to scope out projects and figure out your highest opportunity. That covers our pro options. So again, if you need a refresher after this, over on our pricing page, we have all of that information listed out. We also have a compare and contrast here with this matrix that will show you exactly what features are available with that pro account. We're going to move over into all right, sorry, we just had one question come in. So the question is, what is the difference between the minimum and the maximum incentive? Different programs, customers, etc. Sure, it's a great question. Sorry, meant to go here. So we're basing these off of the given range in the program. So it does differ by program. Let me see if I have a good example here. Frequently what the difference in or what gives you a different minimum maximum for a product is if it's a kWh based program, rate based program. So there will be an energy savings differential there depending on where you're starting and where you're ending up. That's usually where we see differences here. Yeah. Yeah, you'll see with Delmarva here, it'll depend again on what kind of fixture you're moving towards from your baseline. All right, we've got another question coming in here, which is, can you explain the difference in the two tables again, the compare all utilities versus the search by technology table? Is it that one shows incentive rates? So go between them very quickly. So the compare all utilities table, you'll see doesn't include specific incentive rates because we're showing you just general availability in each of these utility programs. So we do provide you the average CNI KWH rate in that program. So you've got an idea of what baselines are going to be in that area. But to find specific incentive information, you would want to navigate over into the technology page and get, this is of course contact the distributor for more information kind of program, but here you'll typically see like a range of what that rebate can be, which again is where we're getting that minimum and maximum value in the search by technology section. Excuse me. So yeah, this is high level overview, national data, no specific incentive information, but showing you all technologies that are incentivized in that utility. This differs from the filter by technology section, which is only not just one technology, but one product category. So you're only looking at 1x4s or 2x2s at a time, but you are getting that rebate range information in this table. So instead of just giving you a high level idea of which utilities incentivize this product category, we're taking it that one step further and giving you an idea of what the rebate opportunity in that program is. It can vary based on this range, but you've got a rough idea of what kind of savings you're looking at. All right. If you have any more questions, please keep them coming. I'll get to as many of them as I can throughout the session, or if I don't know something or you have a more detailed question, I can get back to you after this. We're going to move on into our expert feature availability. So a lot of these features are going to surround our buildings and projects modules. These modules are available. There's free functionality in both of these. So I'll give a high level overview of what that free functionality is in both of them. But then there's an extra level of information available with our expert account tier. So let's pop into buildings here. So with buildings, the idea behind this module is being able to plug in real sites that you care about. So if you, again, national level contractor, if you have a portfolio of buildings that you're keeping an eye on rebate opportunities for to pitch projects to that group, you can plug in your address here and we will update you on when rebates change, as well as give you an overview of what the currently available rebates are for that building. So this is a building that I've created in the Con Ed territory, and it'll give me a list of what rebates are currently available by stream in that utility for this address. So the only information required for a building is usually the zip code and the utility, just because we can pull rebate information based off of that information alone, but makes it a little more customizable and a little easier to show to clients when you're taking it that step further to have their actual address or their business integrated into this module. The feature that is enhanced with the expert account is our multi-site functionality. So if you look over at this right-hand side, this is what we call our multi-site tool. So if you open this filter panel, a few of these are available for free, specifically the territory filter and the tag filter. If you made it to our last session, we talked about the filters here and you saw that these top ones were locked up. So now we get to see what they do. These top filters, you can toggle between prescriptive and instant. You can select the technology. This is based off of the same data that our compare all technology, or not, our filter by technology tool is based off of. So you'll see some of the same pros and then some of the same technology limitations in this module. So if you select lighting, again, we'll have HVAC coming soon when that data is available for the filter by technology as well. But right now this is limited to lighting. And then you'll select your technology category. So again, all of the categories that we had available for that search by technology map that we just went over. And so once you select those filters, they'll automatically apply. I always just click apply out of habit. And it will plot your building. So you can see all of these buildings I have created here on this map to show you, again, a rough sense of where the rebate opportunity is going to be the highest for this product category. So we're using the same base assumptions here as we were before. And the areas where the circle that is representing the plotted buildings is the largest, is where the largest rebate opportunity is. The number inside that circle represents how many buildings are within that area. So if I click this 10 here, you'll see, so UtilityGenius is based out of Pittsburgh, so we got a lot of Pittsburgh-based buildings here. You'll see the range of rebates within this area. So this building down here happens to be a higher rebate. Or no, they're the same. Sorry, just totally tripped over my words there. You'll see that the rebates are the same across here. I'm thinking I have two buildings here that are overlapping slightly. Again, you can click down even further and get a more specific idea, so you can keep going until you get to that last level where you've only got two buildings available versus seeing the bubble for 6, and keep zooming in until you see those individual buildings plotted. If you click on a building, you'll see again the category you just selected in the filtering. You'll see the expected rebate for that fixture. So for a high bay luminaire in Duquesne Light here, you can expect a $55 rebate. And we'll also post that utility KWH rate here. If you have a bill in front of you and have a more up-to-date KWH rate, when you create a building, you are able to plug that in. We're pulling in the default that we have, which is usually going to be pretty close to your bill, but I know some people will have the bill in front of them and have something that's a little bit different. You're welcome to plug that in, and we'll use that information to plug in here. Speaking of KWH rates, you can also do this for KWH rates if you're looking to see national level KWH rates and compare again across, across territories. So you'll see this looks pretty similar as far as the numbers and the locations, but it differs based on where the highest KWH rates are. So for example, the rebate for this Texas building is a little bit smaller than some of the ones in the Northeast, which is expected. But the KWH rate's a little bit higher because energy rates tend to be higher in that area. You'll click in here and we'll still give you the rebate for that territory. That's just not what's being compared on the map, but you'll get all that information still when you click into the building, and then we'll post that KWH rate here. From buildings, we're going to hop over to the projects module to show you a little bit more on our expert tier. One more thing before we go, I do want to mention this is all available as a downloadable PDF. When you download this PDF, you'll see all of these sites listed out with that rebate amount for, in this case, high bays listed out side by side, so you can compare all of them at once. Popping over to projects, again, just a quick overview of what our projects tool does. So here, excuse me, when you create a new project, you, again, name your project, you can connect this to your building, but what you're ultimately doing, I'll use a created one instead of creating a new one. So you're going line by line and showing the retrofit for a specific project. So I'll open this line. Here we have this location I've named Sunny's Store. I have the location, so state and zip plugged in. I have the utility for that, which will auto-populate based on the zip in instances where there's only one utility in that zip code. And then again, we've got this KWH rate, which you can adjust if you have a bill in front of you and know that this information can be slightly different. Here, the information that you're required to fill in. So our operating hours default to 4,000 per year, but you can change this to a different unit or change this number to whatever is most accurate for your location. We have a list of existing fixture types for you to choose from. In this case, I have a metal halide selected. And then again, a list of specific fixtures within that fixture category that you can choose from. So we have a 450 watt here. One pro to the expert account is in our free version of projects, we're limited to only a select set of our partner manufacturers in the projects module. When you go with the expert tool, we're pulling in every DLC and Energy Star qualified manufacturer. So whether you're a manufacturer looking for yourself or an ESCO who has a set of preferred manufacturers, you can find them here. So if I search for Signify, they'll pop up. And then you can favorite those manufacturers and create a list of favorites to manage and use in all of your projects if you've got a specific set that you'd like to use. From that manufacturer, you're able to, again, select a proposed product category. So here I've selected high bays, going from metal halide to high bay. If you'd like to filter down the specific product you'd like to select, you can filter based off of wattage or lumens for what is best for your project. So for example, since we know this is a 450 watt, you may want to make sure that your metal halide or your high bay is going to be below 450 watts. This will then filter down that list of product SKUs from this manufacturer to only SKUs that fit your requirements on this filter. So I'm going to keep the one I have selected here. Looks like it's a 1500 lumen 107 watt. Fill in the quantity of each of these fixtures. If you fill in this one, it will autofill here. If you have a different quantity of a new product that you're getting versus the existing fixture, you can change that here. Fill in the equipment cost based on what that SKU typically costs. And then some optional costs you can fill in if you have a sense of what they're going to cost for this project are labor and other associated costs. So if you have a freight cost in mind, or we do have an annual maintenance cost here, but if you have some other maintenance costs you'd like to include on a per line level, you can do that here. Save your line here, and then you'll see off to this right-hand side a project cost summary, the cost of waiting a year to complete this project to a more energy efficient fixture, the estimated rebate, your time to payback, and then the CO2 reduction you can expect from completing this project based off of the energy savings from going with a more efficient fixture. We'll also plot this on this nice graph for you so you can see real time where that return on ROI is happening. So as I mentioned, with the expert account, you can get access to all DLC and Energy Star manufacturers in our database, which is all of them, and pull those into your project. You may, if you're a larger group or serve a larger area, have one step further a very specific list of products you would like to use in a project. So this is where our custom catalog comes in. You access this in the projects module. You're going to click Access Catalog. This will only appear for you if you are an expert account holder. And here you can create custom products, QPL or non-QPL, that you use the most frequently. So I click Add. I'm going to use a QPL product here. Here I can name this something that is going to be familiar to both my team and my customers. So those product SKUs, you may have a few that you know offhand, but maybe your customers only care that it's quality high bay. This product ID, again, this may be something you have on hand that you can pull from the DLC. If not, not to worry, you can search for it using this QPL product ID dropdown here. This works very similarly to the interface in projects. So I can go to a high bay from a given manufacturer. And again, I have access to all of the manufacturers here to choose from. I can select a specific product from them. Oh, that's a non-QPL. Okay. You'll get your product ID. You can copy this here, and you can plug that product ID right in here. You can also add a description if you have any notes about a product you want to remember. So if I want to remember this is my QD high bay, I can include that here. Save your product. And it'll come down here to the bottom and you'll be able to see the wattage and the lumens for that sample product. If you have a product that you were using a lot, but you're no longer using as much, you can archive a product at any time. And you can always access your archive and restore it if you need that product back. You can also add a non-QPL product here. So if you have a non-QPL product that maybe isn't in our database, you can name that product, select the category that that product falls in, and then give the wattage and lumen information for that product, and we'll pull that into your projects as well. With non-QPL products in particular, we won't calculate rebates on them, just because the rebate eligibility for non-QPL products can get a little tricky, but we will still pull in the energy savings for these products, so you can still get a sense of how they'll fit into the broader scope of your project and what savings are available just from bringing down your energy bill using a non-QPL product. You can also manage your favorite manufacturers through this UI, so it looks, again, very similar to what you have access to directly in projects, but if you're just getting started with an expert account and you've got your list of favorite manufacturers that you just know you're always going to want to use, you can search for them in here, favorite all of them, and have access to those favorites through projects for as many projects as you create. There's one more expert feature to cover here in projects, and then we'll have some time for questions at the end. So if I go into create and this upload Excel file, we have our project's Excel uploader, which again is available only for our expert tier. We do provide a template for you to use. I would highly recommend using the template just to reduce upload error. And we do have some guidelines here on how to further reduce any upload error. I'll download this template and show you what that looks like. So before we even get into the template, if you're attempting to upload an Excel project, you're going to want to name your project here, add the zip code, and then we'll fill in that utility information when there's only one. For zip codes where there's two, you can then select from those utilities that are in that zip code for the correct one for this location. Let me pull up our template here. And switch to the screen. All right. So now we have our Excel project template uploader. So on this first tab, if you have multiple rooms, you can add rooms in here. If you don't have a room division in mind, you can leave this blank and we'll just put everything into one room. In the project line sheet, this is where that room information, if you have rooms, will populate. So if I add dining and living, for example, I can select from those rooms here. The operating hours will default to the 4,000 hours per year if you don't fill something in. Again, the unit will be per year. And then here, it's the same information that you can pull in with the project's UI. So this tool is really helpful if you have a really large project with many lines. It might be a little easier for you to manage in the Excel spreadsheet. There's no limit on how many lines you can add just natively in UtilityGenius in projects, but we find that some users really like this layout instead. So here you'll fill in your existing fixture quantity, the existing fixture, which will come from this dropdown here, existing fixture wattage. We do have a list of assumptions of default wattages for all of these products. So if you fill in a fixture and you're okay with that default, we'll just use that default. Here we have the proposed fixture quantity. So it can match this or not match this depending on what kind of project you're doing. And then we have two ways that you can pull in that proposed fixture into our interface. So you can use the QPL product ID, which I'll show you when we get back over to the interface. We have a dropdown like the one we went over in the custom catalog that will pull that product ID straight from the DLC or Energy Star catalog, and you can just copy it right in here. I would recommend this method. Tends to be a little more reliable as to getting the right product into your UI. However, if you have the model number handy, you can also fill in the model number, the proposed category, which you can select from this dropdown, and the proposed bulb type or UL type, and we'll still pull that product in. Here are your cost fields again. So the only one we require to complete a project is your product cost. And then we have your labor cost and your other costs again at that per line level, like as is in the UI for projects. So I'll switch back over to that UI and show you again where that QPL product ID dropdown is. So you can use those favorite manufacturers of yours. You can search for a new one. QP again. Find your category, your product, and then you'll have that product ID that you can just copy directly into that project spreadsheet. From here, you'll upload the file and we'll create a project for you based on all of that specification. You can always edit the project after you upload it as well. So you can create your baseline with those required fields and then edit it as necessary once you have it in UtilityGenius. So that concludes the formal demo session here. Again, if you have any questions about what the difference between our 3 account tiers are, I'll redirect you to this pricing page, and then the product session we did covering the free features is available in our resources tab on UtilityGenius as well. This will be posted there within the next 2 or 3 days, I would say. So you can watch both of them and get a full sense of what the different tiers on UtilityGenius enable you to do. If you need a refresher on anything, but that's the end of the demo. And so if there are any other questions, please feel free to ask them now. All right. Oh, this is a good one. So someone says, do you track the maximum incentive allowed in programs such as per customer per year or per account per year? So we are working to integrate more project cap information into our database. You'll see some of that coming in the next couple of weeks as we're adding some additional program sponsors to our interface, like non-utility program sponsors. We have this information available for custom right now. So let me go back over to the custom stuff. Go to PPL, custom. Yeah, so we'll have the project cap here. This is per project, not per customer. I know there are different program caps that will again be something that's coming soon for us. We do, at this time, we don't have this available in any of our downloads as well. So this having more cap information is something that we're working towards in our upcoming roadmap. So it's really good to hear this feedback. But for now, it's limited to this section in our project cap here. And we do have some of the customer cap information on file that we can work to include. Another question that just came in is about having a sort of team account. So whether or not there are opportunities to have a package of multiple accounts. So again, this is a great time to ask these questions. You're like a step ahead of our roadmap. We will have a Teams account coming soon for those of you who work in a larger team and want to work collaboratively with them. We'll have a Teams account package that will enable you to bundle multiple seats into one bill. And this will also enable you to do things like share your buildings and projects. And this will also be where some of that additional data that was just asked about will live. So project cap pre-approval, some of that will come along with the Teams account. All right. Got one more question in here, and it's actually one that has stumped me. So I will get back to you after this, but I think it's something I do want to bring up, is how we handle other unique programs besides the traditional instant prescriptive custom divide. So the reason I want to talk about this a little is, as I mentioned, we are working to include some non-utility program sponsors in here. So we have state programs coming, so your state energy offices. We have federal programs coming. The two that will be available in our initial batch are the USDA's REAP program and then 179D. And then there will also be a sort of catch-all function here that is designed to capture nonprofit programs or for-profit programs that don't necessarily neatly fit, like they're not federally sponsored, but they don't neatly fit in a certain utility. And so I do think some of these like unique cases would end up falling into that bucket eventually. But I will get you a more specific answer after this because it's a good question. So we are working to build out those additional offerings as well. We kind of started with this basic framework and worked to build that out to the most in-depth information we had available, but we are working to expand that offering. So one thing here. I'm just checking one additional question. Yeah, okay. There is also a specific question about whether we cover retro commissioning. So you'll see on this technologies page that we have two levels of information. This top tier is where we're capturing specific rebate amounts. So, actual estimates on what that rebate is going to be in that program by technology. This lower half here, we're capturing just rebate availability in that utility. So retro commissioning falls into this category. If you open it here, we just have some information about what retro commissioning is. And then the fact that it appears in this utility means that we know that there is this technology availability within this utility, but we don't have more specific information at this time. So we're linking you over to the utilities website and giving you information that this is something that's available in this utility, but we don't have that next level of information just yet. There is an article on our blog about what this project entails and the different technologies that we track. There are, I believe, 21 of them that are included in this tier where we're letting you know where we know that incentives are available, but not necessarily what the specific incentive is. So that'll give you some of that information. Okay. So we are just about at time for today. I want to thank you all very much for joining me for this session today. It's been really great to have this opportunity to kind of work face-to-face with users of UtilityGenius. If you have any questions following this, you can reach me you can email hello@utilitygenius.com, or you can reach me personally I'll send you an email after this. My last name's kind of hard to spell, but I will send an email with this recording after the fact, and you can reply directly to that email to get any other questions that you have answered, or if you have a question that I didn't fully answer, I will reach out to you personally with that answer in the next day or so. Yeah, thank you very much. This recording will be available in our resources section in the next week. So you'll have this available as a resource as you're navigating the platform. Again, you've got our pricing page for additional information, and then you can reach out with any other questions. But thank you all very much for your time today, and I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday.